Believe it or not, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, Fijians registering for seasonal workers scheme targeted. Cane farmers hopeful despite wet weather. An investigation begins into alleged Yangona duping.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Some Fijians registering for the seasonal workers scheme are becoming targets for bogus travel agencies. The Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission says this has become a new trend. Pranita Prakash reports.
The Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission has received complaints from Fijians interested in the seasonal worker scheme.
When it was announced, what we found is there were some, so to speak, travel agents that were walking outside around the registration centers. So as soon as people came out, they said, look, if you want to go, we've got some contacts. If you pay us this amount of dollars, we can get you. And there's some people that have actually paid them money. And the FCCC is currently investigating those complaints as well.
Employment Minister Chones Mate is advising Fijians the only credible recruitment agency for the seasonal worker scheme is the National Employment Centre.
Any employment agency that wants to send people needs to register with us. We know that there are some travel agents that do this. If they're doing it, it's being done illegally. There's only one employment agency at the moment that is registered with us, and that is the Freebird Institute that has taken some people for employment in Japan. Over and above that, there are none that are currently operational.
Fijians are urged to make proper checks before parting away with hard-earned cash. The Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission, together with the Consumer Council, have received more than 100 complaints where Fijians have lost more than $2 million after falling victims to bogus travel agencies in the last 4 years. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Sugarcane farmers in the West remain hopeful they will bounce back in time for the new crushing season this year, despite the devastation caused by the recent cyclones. Farmers in Lautoka are working around the clock to ensure their targeted sugarcane harvest is achieved. Felipe Naikaso reports.
These farmers are still reeling from the devastation caused by heavy floods and tropical cyclone Josie and Kenny that damaged majority of the sugarcane farms.
Till today, the water is standard in the cane. Now, the production which I was expecting 200 ton, but now I am expecting 180 ton or 160 ton like that. Because if the water is standard in the cane is rotting. No new shoots coming, so our production is going down.
Farmers remain positive that they will be able to turn things around soon.
Well, after this season harvesting, it will go. And if the dry season comes, we'll pick it.
Other farmers say hitting their harvested sugarcane target will not be a problem as they've prepared well in advance.
This year the cane was very good, but these two hurricanes and the flood spoiled the cane. All the cane went down. It will be a bit difficult for machine or the manual harvested, but I think it will be okay.
The dates for the new crushing season has not been released yet. However, farmers are hopeful it may be around June. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
A group of farmers from Wainimala Naitasiri have lost thousands of dollars after they were allegedly duped by a man who lured them into selling their yangona in Lambasa on their behalf. The farmers lodged a report at the Nambur police station. However, the case has been sent to Lambasa as the alleged incident took place there. Ali Kimbia with more details.
Around 6 farmers uprooted over $200,000 worth of yangona plants from their farms in Naitasiri and gave it to a middleman who promised to bring more returns by selling it in Lambasa.
We filled up a 3-ton container worth of yangona and he told us that he would take all the yangona and sell it from Lambasa because a kilo will cost $120 a kilo, and on Monday we will receive the money. So about 6 of us farmers were chosen to go with him to Lambasa.
The farmers say no payments have been received from the arrangements they made to date. They also claim the middleman is nowhere to be found.
While we were in Lambasa, he kept on lying to us that the bank is slowing the process of our money, and all he was doing was he kept on lying to us. This guy never told us anything about the money right up till now, and we are still waiting. All we are asking, if something can be done, we need to get the correct information of where our money has gone.
Police has confirmed an investigation has begun. More details on the matter is expected to be released later as investigation continues. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
People living in informal settlements are most vulnerable to natural disasters as many homes are not well structured and have no access to basic sanitation. Save the Children Fiji says its focus now is to ensure children from these areas are aware of disaster risk reduction. Kelly Vadala reports.
A child-centered disaster risk reduction project will ensure children in these areas know what to do during and after a disaster.
If you go to informal settlements, most of the households are not strong enough. Where they're situated is loosely held, and that's a vulnerability in itself. Right now, there's a lot of response to disasters. What we're trying to do is trying to work on preparedness and how well they can also prepare and mitigate risks that might have them more vulnerable to these disasters.
Project leader J.C. Gaylard says they're looking at ways to create a tangible dialogue that will involve children's views on improving disaster emergency plans.
Having the children designing or defining their own concept of resilience, what it does entail and include, and then designing their own questionnaire, running their own survey by themselves around the villages.
Children see things differently. They might notice the small things like, some sharp nails or sharp things in the places that they usually play that adults might even ignore.
Save the Children Fiji says they will visit more communities that have been identified to be vulnerable to disasters following a study being carried out already in some communities. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Still to come, youths taught proper logging techniques. And Family Breakout Festival to help develop Nakasi schools. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo sekolah untuk talita na Radio Fiji 1 kena Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuyaga sila tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu pinasabali pag nagundurong barong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na honga ni BNN.
56 youths of 5 districts in Dakandrove now have the skills and knowledge of safely using chainsaws for tree felling. The youths are part of the basic chainsaw training course provided by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Eleanor Rangaivu reports.
Logging or tree felling is one of the most hazardous work, and the chainsaw, in a large part, is responsible for this danger. The proper techniques for safe and effective tree felling is now being taught to these youth in Dakandrove.
We'd like to ensure that they are being aware of the safety that is surrounding the operating of the chainsaw. So that's how we come about in implementing this project.
The Ministry of Youth and Sports, under its Youth Empowerment Training and a Youth Grant, assists villages with the provision of chainsaws. And while villages have these chainsaws, many do not have the skills and knowledge of its use and maintenance.
There are different chainsaws and different uses as well. There are small ones and there are also bigger ones. Some who are trained intend to work in logging companies, some to go overseas.
The basic chainsaw training course started last Monday and is being held at Kortasere village in Waturoba. It involves youths from the districts of Tawake, Sangani, Waturoba, Koralau and Navatu.
Logging is now a source of income, and having a certificate is required to get a job. Not only that, even those that want to start Angona farms, they will need chainsaws to clear the land.
The training ends on Friday with the 56 participants receiving certificates for the 2-week course.
We always abuse the use of chainsaws. We just buy it and use it for anything. Now we are being taught how to use it.
For us who are farming here, it's good that we know the proper way to log and cut trees so that we can just harvest our own trees instead of paying individuals to cut it for us.
The training aims to help the youth understand how to use chainsaws safely, how to be productive, as well as how to be mindful of the environment when using chainsaws. Eleanor Turangaibio, FBC News.
Energy Fiji Limited is working with 20 contractors to complete the rural electrification project. Chief Executive Hasmukh Patel says the project is fully funded by the government, and in the last 4 years they have made great progress in electrifying rural communities. The government allocated around $32 million for rural electrification work in the 2017-2018 national budget.
I'm sure more RE work will follow in the next budget because government has a target to ensure that every Fiji citizen has access to electricity by 2020.
Hundreds are expected to be part of the Family Breakout Festival that will get underway at 9 Miles Nasinu from tomorrow. The festival is aimed at raising funds to fulfill development plans at St. Joseph the Worker Primary School. Sainiani Boiler reports.
The first ever Family Breakout Festival will bring together residents living in and around Nakasi to raise funds for new computer lab and desktop computers.
This Family Breakout Festival is to assist the school in terms of the development plan. So what we have done for the next 4 years to come, we will be doing this often.
The festival organizer says the alcohol-free event will have amusement rides, food stalls and evening stage shows.
There's 15 food stalls that we have on, and there's a lot of variety types of food that they can enjoy. Basically, it's a mini festival here in the location of Nakasi and the Wilevu.
Well, I would like to say to the public that please come and support, for this is the first ever carnival in Nakasi, and we have a lot of rides and snack stalls, food stalls, and you have everything you acquire to have in a carnival.
I want to help out with the development of the school because I'm a parent. That's why I paid for a stall, and I'm urging all stall owners to be prepared to cater for the demands of those that will be part of the festival.
The 5-day festival will officially begin tomorrow night and ends on Saturday. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Turning to world news, 10 people have been killed and 15 injured after a man drove a van into pedestrians in Toronto, police said. The 25-year-old suspect has been named by police as Alec Manassian. This report by TVNZ.
Tonight, the race to save lives after the deadly van attack. 9 dead and more than a dozen wounded after a driver in this white van jumped the curb, plowing through pedestrians on a major street in Toronto.
Vehicle. Personal injury, intersection of Yonge Street and French Avenue.
It was lunchtime, just before 1:30 p.m. The van, driving 16 blocks, nearly a mile and a half, ramming into people again and again.
He just went on the sidewalk. He just started hitting everybody, man. He hit every single person on the sidewalk. Anybody in his way, he would hit. The bus stop, everything got shattered. There was a lady in there that I saw. I just stopped and I looked and I went after it again. All I see is just crumbling up, one by one.
Eyewitnesses describing a scene of pure panic.
Everyone started running and screaming, and he hit this one lady, and she went flying. Then he hit another lady. I didn't see because I was running at that point, but you could hear them like dropping.
Police finally cornering the van. Investigators are now scouring the video of the standoff that came next. The driver pulling an object from his pocket, pointing it at an officer, staring him down with this warning. That didn't happen. The officer took him down, handcuffing him on the pavement. Officers taking him into custody. With this unfolding, swarms of first responders racing to the scene, finding multiple victims already being triaged by Good Samaritans.
There was 4 bodies on the ground.
police and the ambulance hadn't arrived yet, but people were trying to revive them.
A grim scene. Victims lying all over the street. Bodies covered with orange tarps. Shoes left abandoned in the middle of the street. The injured loaded onto stretchers and raced to nearby hospitals.
This is going to be a long investigation with multiple witnesses, with a lot of surveillance cameras.
Tonight, police still searching for a motive behind the mayhem.
In sports later, Fiji yachting to send 2 sailors to the World Championship, but we now join Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. FNPF concerned with future of retirement savings. And in growing Fiji, construction to begin on Lambasa's 40 million Demoda city next month. Stay with us.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफ्रिकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन तो हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
In business tonight, the FNPF is concerned that members will retire with a balance of $10,000 and will have less than $17 per week as pension. This has prompted them, together with other stakeholders, to hold a retirement expo that will enable its members to look at options to save money for the future. Pranita Prakash reports.
The FNPF last week revealed 73% members have less than $10,000 in their accounts, and Fijians are urged to make use of the week-long retirement expo to explore more savings opportunity.
This is the opportunity for you, because in retirement, the key is to plan early and prepare early. So with all these exhibitors out here, insurance companies, banks, lands department, IT, LTP, with all these professions out here, they're all located in one location, and you can come and have an audience with each of them, get professional advice for them so that you can better prepare for your retirement.
Reserve Bank of Fiji says Fijians should not only rely on FNPF funds.
A lot of people, when we talk about retirement plans, they just say, okay, but FNPF is there. What a lot of people don't really realize is that your FNPF will not be enough. When in Fiji now the compulsory retirement age is 55. And a lot of people live to 80 to 85, so that means you'll be living for another 25, 30 years. You'll stop work after retirement.
More than 300 Fijians visited the various exhibitors at the FNPF Boulevard in Suva yesterday. The Retirement Expo ends on Friday. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
The Freebird Institute Limited has declared a final dividend of 2 cents per share after exceptional results from last year. Board Chair Hiroshi Taniguchi says despite the setbacks faced by the company in August last year, the results at the year end were remarkable. The company's profit before tax increased by 15%. And we now join Sean from HFC Bank with the latest from the financial market.
Thank you. The Australian Consumer Price Index released today showed a mixed picture, with the headline inflation coming in below expectations. However, the annualized figure remained unchanged at 1.9%. Meanwhile, New Zealand visitor arrivals in March were at 13% from the previous 11.4%, indicating a rise in tourism. The US dollar has put on a compelling show as the 10-year US Treasury yield extended its recent surge to just below the 3% mark. It's the highest since January 2014. Data released early today shows US existing home sales for March came in at 5.6 million, while their Market Services Purchasing Managers Index was higher than expected at 54.4. And that's all from me, Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. Taking a look at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar made gains against our major trading partner, that's Australia and New Zealand, as well as the euro and the Japanese yen. Looking at the commodities market, oil prices closed at $68.90 a barrel. Gold dropped to close at $1,327 an ounce, and silver was up to close at $16.69 an ounce. And in growing Fiji tonight, Demoda Group of Company has invested over $40 million to build Demoda City in Lambasa. Group Chief Executive Dave Demoda says the construction will begin next month and will be carried out in stages. Once completed, the complex will have a supermarket, 24 retail shops, 2 food and beverage outlets, 3 cinema screens, event lounge, modern conference facility, food court and 2 department stores. Included in this complex will be a hotel that will comprise of 40 rooms, a multifunctional convention center, 5 food dining, restaurant, exclusive bar and a lounge facility. The cinema will have a sitting capacity of 650 people. 4R Construction Limited is the contractor of the project.
We've at Demoda North Limited bringing Demoda City down there, which has got a fantastic 3-screen cinemas. It's got a food court, it's got retail and supermarket, and the idea is to encourage an economic development which will then ignite entire vulnerable labor.
And that's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you now with sports.
Naka Rachel, and good evening. Coming up in sports, Singapore pivotal in World Series title chase for Fiji, and youngsters take advantage of rugby clinic in Suva. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफ्रिकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन तक ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
Fiji Airways men's sevens coach Gareth Baber believes they have a lot of work to do if they want to win the World Sevens Series. With the side 3 points away from leaders South Africa, Baber says winning the Singapore Sevens title could be a turning point. Felipe Naikaso has more.
Checking to make sure they have everything they need for the Singapore Sevens tournament, coach Gareth Baber says they're aiming for the title this weekend.
I want to win every tournament I go into, but you know, it makes it, I suppose, a little bit more special when there's a run for first place. We're not taking anything for granted. Obviously, we've got New Zealand behind us in third as well. So, you know, we've got a huge amount of work to do to make sure that we're producing the rugby that we have produced on times this year. But we know we've produced some ordinary rugby on times as well. So, you know, it's about getting ourselves mentally where we need to be.
Baber has included 2 players who have been knocking tirelessly for selection into the team, and Singapore may just be a chance for them to prove their worth at international level.
Yeah, this is different ball game altogether. Tournament Fiji, that's only local tournament. Some people, when they got in there, they don't know tense or what. But in Fiji, compared to the rugby, it's different ball game altogether. So you have to make 3-4 steps upward up to the stand.
However, for players who have been consistent at international tournaments, they know exactly what is at stake.
Singapore is an important tournament with 3 points behind South Africa, so it's really important for the team to get the rhythm back and to win Singapore Sevens.
The side left for Singapore last night with one mission, and that is to win the tournament and secure a top place in the World Series standings before they head into the next leg. Felipe Naikaso, FBC Sports.
As Flying Fijians coach John McKee finalizes plans for mid-year test matches, he's having to juggle with player availability. With an injury cloud already over Timothy Nangusa, McKee has also had to rule out one of his best utility players. Vasnil Prasad reports.
Flying Fijians utility back Levan Mbotia has been ruled out of the June test matches after suffering a knee injury earlier this month.
Overall, you know, obviously not having a player of his class in our team can have a bit of an effect, but I think, you know, we've got some very strong players in the midfield.
Coach John Mackey is expected to name an extended squad soon.
I'm keeping an eye on a couple of players who I'd consider as frontliners who have picked up little injuries, like such as Timothy Nagusa, who's picked up an ankle injury.
24 local players will have one last chance to impress Mackey when the Fiji Warriors takes on West Australia in a match next month.
Pretty important for me, for some of the local players who are in contention for the June Test series, to have a look at them in that high performance environment and see how they perform under pressure. And
the programs that maybe we are planning around their teams, we are working with a professional development manager.
The side will depart on Sunday to play West Australia on May 4th. Bashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
More than 50 children are using their school break to be part of the Rugby Academy Clinic, which started today at Bidesi Park in Laudala Bay. The clinic, coordinated by former Flying Fijian fly half Sermai Ambai, targets developing rugby at the grassroots level. Melita Vanga reports.
The Rugby Academy, which was introduced last year, has grown. Today sees a large number of interested youngsters involved in clinic being carried out by the academy.
It's a way to engage the students during the holidays, and on top of that is just more into there's two programs where we introduce rugby to under 5s to 8s, and then from the under 9s to under 14s. It's good to see them and come in and participate and enjoying themselves.
The clinic, while focusing on rugby, also provided a chance for the young rugby enthusiasts to get to know each other and discuss the game.
It's the basics of rugby, but more so it's more into rugby. It's about participation and having fun and finding new friends and something to do in the holidays.
The young ruggers were excited about the program.
Enjoyed my training today, and we've learned how to pass and catch, and we've learned rugby tackling, and we learned everything about rugby, and scoring and tackling and catching and kicking and
playing, running, kicking, catching and defending.
The 2 weeks program ran until next Friday. Melita Vanga, FBC Sports.
Mason Lino, Isaiah Papali'i and Anthony Gelling have been named in the Warriors starting lineup against the Melbourne Storm in the annual Anzac Day match tomorrow. With Penrith losing to Cronulla yesterday, the Warriors level with the Dragons at the top of the table on 12 points and second on points differential. Concerns have been raised following the poor performance of the Fiji Pearls at the recent Commonwealth Games and the Oceania Netball World Cup 2019 regional qualifier over the weekend. The Vicky Wilson coach side suffered its poorest finish ever at the Commonwealth Games, where it ended its campaign winless. Their luck deteriorated further at the regional qualifier in Auckland last weekend after losing to Samoa 54-43. The result is expected to see Fiji drop further on the world rankings. Questions sent by FBC Sports via email to Netball Fiji President Wanikiti Mbongindrao remain unanswered. Manchester City's players were given a guard of honour in their first match at home since being crowned Premier League champions. But while they celebrate, Arsenal fans are beginning to farewell longtime manager Arsene Wenger. In today's Play of the Day, Chicago Cubs star Chris Bryant was lucky to be still walking after being struck in the head by a 154 km/h pitch. After the incident, he was taken off for examination. However, reports later confirmed there were no serious injuries. That's it from sports this evening. Angie joins you later on with weather and later on in the world of the weird and the wonderful, the story of a special young man who took his mother to his high school prom. That's coming up.
Bula, Keron mai singatoka, Keron do talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and do moi viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon ko lang do talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina do moi viti.
Kaya kuyazo silitale, nagurara mai na omanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu pinasabale, nagundurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 nando moi viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 nando moi viti na ponga ni BNN.
TVs are getting way bigger and brighter and bendable. From a rollable 65-inch screen to 8K, we check out some of the best and brightest TVs. And it's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. The weather has been fascinating for a while now and today was even brighter. Guess we're in luck for such amazing conditions. Taking a quick look in the west for today, after a few early morning passing showers, the day turned out to be absolutely beautiful. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, the hot sun was a bliss. And up north, skies were mostly cloudy with light showers expected overnight. At sea, southeast winds gusting up to 20 knots with very moderate seas. For the tides, low tide is at 8:09 p.m. with high tide at 2:41 a.m. Sunrise will be at 6:18. For tomorrow, the weather is gradually normalizing as we can see, so hoping for more sunshine. Tomorrow's temps, Suva will be the coolest at 28 degrees. And looking further on to Thursday, light showers are expected, but apart from that, all beautifully clear. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji Impulse tonight, we asked, should Fiji follow suit as other countries and introduce life sentences for rapists?
I think life sentence is fair enough, just to put a stop to this act. Thank you.
The rapists should get enough imprisonment. They should be in imprisonment so that so those other people who are trying to think of doing this, they should have a feeling that these were the consequences that they have suffered.
They should be given life imprisonment because I think rape is it's a big crime, and it's nothing to be looked at lightly. So usually when rapists go in and they come out, they do the same thing. So if they're given life imprisonment, I think they'll actually put some impact on the other people's mind.
Yeah, I think we should follow that because if you see in Fiji, there's a lot of rapists in Fiji. Most of them, when they go to prison, when they come back, they just still do raping. I think we should follow those rapists in the world to reduce the rapists in Fiji.
Yes, they should be because they are doing wrong things. They are trying to rape small girls like underage children, and they should be in prison for life sentence because they are not wasting only their life, but they are wasting some other one's life.
A student in the US took his mother as his date to his school prom. But if you think it's because he couldn't get one, think again. He did so because she never got to attend hers. TVNZ with this heartwarming story. Recapping the main stories for tonight, Fijians registering for seasonal workers scheme targeted. Cane farmers hopeful despite wet weather. An investigation begins into alleged Yongona duping. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, do you think more should be invested to develop athletes to meet international standards? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day sent in by Nadia Aslam, a picture of Coco, and she lives in Bar. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
warorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kung minasong ko tikola, untuk talita na Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya ko yazo sila tale, nagurara may naomanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu pinasabale, nagundor rongo. Barong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.